2018 is here along with a boatload of spoilers. Today, we're reviewing the white cards from Rivals of Ixalan. Let's go. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Commanding Magic, not Season 3. We're still in Season 2 because we forgot to record a Season's End episode at the end of 2018, but oddly enough, it is episode 18, so
yeah,
whatever. Right? Happy 2018, everybody. I hope you all had a good New Year, a good holiday, whichever one you choose to or not choose to partake in.
It was okay.
It's Travis and Brandon here, as always, and we're coming at you today with some big stuff. I'm talking big stuff, not just because a lot of the creatures in this set are big. Like, as you can see by what's on the screen right now, the scale is very large, but this is a big set. I mean, I'm just speaking.
It's a small set, Travis. Don't get it confused
now. Don't get me started. I don't like, man.
I wish this was a big set. I really do.
You know, part of me is actually okay with this being a small set, just so there's no room for like a bunch of extra stuff to disappoint me.
Right. Yeah, I get you.
Like this could have been like Hour of Devastation too, you know?
Right. What this did, I feel like, though, it filled in all the gaps from Ixalan.
What set are we talking about, Brandon? I don't even know.
Rivals of Ixalan.
Rivals of Ixalan. Holy smokes, man. As the set has been being spoiled throughout the week, I've just been getting more and more excited. There's so much cool stuff in here. I feel like this set maybe was not like designed for the commander players or whatever, because there's a lot of flavor going on here that dictates kind of how things work and what has to be in the set and how the things are designed. But this whole block is the commander player's paradise if you play tribal.
Right? Oh my god.
I know. And that's one of the biggest, most awesome things for me, is because tribal is one of my favorite types of things to play. Like, I put together the blue-green good stuff deck, and it's fun and whatever. But at the end of the day, some of my favorite decks to play are my mono-red warrior, berserker, whatever.
Right.
Like, with Lavisa Cold Eyes.
That you've had together forever.
Yeah, and the deck's not good. It's just fun. Or like the Ocean deck with Tromokratus, which there's no theme. There's a big theme, but there's hardly any like synergy. It's just things that happen in the ocean. I don't know.
Right.
So like,
which did get a card from this set in it too.
Oh yes, it did. I'm super stoked. But man, like with vampires and with pirates and dinosaurs and whatever the other thing was, merfolk.
Yep, merfolk.
Oh, merfolk. Don't even get me started. I can't wait to really dive into this. I could like gush and gush and gush and gush for so long. Speaking of gush, that's an amazing card.
I think after the first Ixalan set, the tribes were, they were whatever. They were a couple new tribes, dinosaurs and pirates, and then two different colors from merfolk and vampires. Coming into this set, though, I am digging the merfolks more than I did last set.
Dude.
It is so good.
Oh, man. And you know what else this set did? It was almost, I feel like it was almost sneaky.
Yeah.
It added little things here and there just because of the nature of how developing creature types works. Mm-hmm. There's little bits for the human deck if you want to play humans.
Right.
There's little bits here and there for the cleric deck, and now that I think about it, I wonder if clerics is going to be a big thing in Dominaria.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Who knows anything about Dominaria except for who's going to be there?
That's kind of how I'm feeling. But man, the cleric deck is always something. I tried to kind of put one together a while ago, black-white clerics.
Mm-hmm.
I never played it ever. I had the deck together, never played it, and eventually just took it apart because I was like, it doesn't seem that great. I'm not even going to worry about it. But now I'm more excited than ever to eventually put a black-white clerics deck together, or Bant Merfolk. Like, good Lord, I don't even know. Like, a lot of people are saying, oh, Simic Merfolk, but just like partner the guys up, partner the blue-green guy with the white-green guy from the couple commander sets ago, and you have Bant Merfolk, and it's going to be crazy. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, because where we are right now is on Ixalan, and the color that we're going to be reviewing in this video is white. What does that mean, Brandon? Oh my gosh. Turns out spoiler videos are super hard to digest when it's like a 2-hour video and you have to go over every single card in the set. So we're going to adopt or attempt to adopt what other channels have done and break down our set reviews into videos sorted out by colors. So white, blue, black, red, green, and then multicolor and artifacts will be put together. So you will see many episodes under the banner of Commanding Magic Season 2, Episode 18, but they will all be
color-themed.
Color-themed, yeah. So we'll make sure to note that in the titles of the videos.
Mm-hmm.
And that being said, let's go right into the first card of the day, which is the card that you see up on the screen, and it is Zetalpa Primal Dawn.
This card is stupid.
This card is stupid, but it's just stupid enough for me to love it.
I know, right?
This is 8 mana for a 4/8 legendary creature, Elder Dinosaur. We have an Elder Dinosaur for every color.
Yep.
And they're all awesome. They're all so cool, which just makes me... the dinosaur...
No, here's what I want to tell you.
Okay.
Black is my least favorite color, right?
Uh-huh.
Out of all of them, I love the black one the most.
Oh, he looks so cool, but you'll have to wait till that episode to click the link in the description or whatever. Yeah. So, 8 for a 4/8 flying double strike, vigilance, trample, indestructible.
So you pair this guy with Odric Lunarch Marshal, and you just go to town.
Shout out
right?
to Colin, who is building that deck.
Yeah.
This card's tailor-made for you, bud, and I hope you make use of it. But man, so let's break it down here. Let's break it down.
Oh, let's break it down.
Real quick here. Elder Dinosaur, one for every color. All of their power and toughnesses are different. Almost all of their mana costs are different. They're all very different. It's not like back when we had all of the Titans where they were all 6 mana for 6/6s or whatever, right? And they all had different abilities.
The Elder Dragons from what's it called? The Elder Dragons. You know which ones I'm talking about? Khans. The Elder Dragons.
Oh yeah, like
from Tarkir.
Yeah, right. Those ones. Yeah, those were all very different as well. But what we have here, so the white one is just when I say vanilla, I don't mean like plain. I just mean like there's nothing super crazy to develop interactions around. This is you slam this guy down on the table and just start going to town with him.
He doesn't have haste though.
Yeah,
so
that is
pretty. Gotta wait.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. But even so, this guy makes a great like blocker as well. Like I understand he's got like vigilance and trample and stuff like that, but like flying, double strike, and indestructible are great defensive keywords. Mm-hmm. So even if you just leave this guy back, just to be as a blocker, he's super awesome. But even if you're attacking with him, he's going to be a pain in the butt to kill because he's got indestructible. He has double strike, so chances are you're not going to run him over, and he's going to hit whatever he's blocking for 8. And he can block flying.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Can I just ask this question, though? How big is that, though?
Exactly.
Like,
man.
How much airspace does that take up?
The scale, he is taking up the entire sky.
Exactly.
Like, look at this. So, I mean, just in case you haven't really taken a good look at this, just look at the buildings around it.
There's buildings for scale for this guy.
Yeah, I think purposefully so.
We had a ship that had ships for scale.
Uh-huh. This is a dinosaur with buildings for scale, right?
Yeah.
I wish we had a ship in this picture to show the ship scaled to the buildings.
Right?
Man, this card is awesome. I can't wait to use it. Next up is the first card in a cycle that we will see over the course of this series of reviews.
This is a pretty damn good cycle.
Forerunner of the Legion. There is a Forerunner, for 4 of the colors.
It's for one of each tribe.
Yeah. All right, that's a good way to put it. So, Brandon, what's Forerunner of the Legion?
So, Forerunner of the Legion is 2 and a white for Vampire Knight. He's a 2/2. And when Forerunner of the Legion enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a vampire card, reveal it, then shuffle your library, and put that card on top of it. Any vampire card, so go get one of the legendaries, whatever you want, your most powerful, whatever, just slam it on the top, and you're good.
We need a vampire land.
Yeah, right? How would that work?
I don't know. It'd have to be like fucking... I don't know.
It'd have to be a dude that flipped into a land or something. I don't know.
The vampire turns into a castle. Yeah,
So,
but there's more.
Next part of this is whenever another vampire enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's not target vampire; it's just target creature. So whatever you want just gets +1/+1.
But I think
only until end of turn.
I think the thing to really take away from this is a vampire tutor.
Yes.
And all of these forerunners have the same type of ability. I'm pretty sure all the original tutors, like Worldly Tutor, Mystic Tutor, I think Vampire or not Vampire.
Diabolic.
A couple of them like put the card straight on top of your library.
Yeah.
Instead of in your hand. And this goes along those lines, but I feel like for 3 mana for a 2/2 body with another ability on top of that, this is just totally awesome for the vampire deck. And something else to consider here, I guess, is that let's just say you were building knights.
Yeah.
If there's another knight that is also a vampire, considering the fact
there are plenty of in the set.
Right, considering the fact that the second ability, it doesn't discriminate for the creature that you put the counter on. There's some synergy there too.
Yep.
So the next card's pretty crazy.
A little bit.
This is Trapjaw Tyrant. And Trapjaw Tyrant, not only... Man, I can't get enough of the design, like the art style of the dinosaurs in this block. They look so good. So at 5 mana for a 5/5 dinosaur, at mythic rarity, so it's our one of the mythic dinosaurs. There's many mythic dinosaurs. What am I even talking about? I shouldn't have said that. Has the mechanic Enrage. Whenever Trapjaw Tyrant is dealt damage, exile target creature and opponent controls until Trapjaw Tyrant leaves the battlefield. This is like a repeatable Oblivion Ring. Well, a repeatable Journey to Nowhere. Sorry. And as we will see throughout this series of reviews, and
God, it is so easy to get that triggered.
If you do your research, there's plenty of other ways to trigger Enrage.
You just have to make sure you don't kill it. Because once it's dead, they get their stuff back.
Yeah. So I'm sure that this is going to have some awesome implications in the dinosaur deck. This could even just have implications in, like, it doesn't have to be a dinosaur deck. Like any deck that can even, I don't know, use him as a blocker, use him as an attacker, use him with other creatures.
Use him as just another Banisher Priest. I mean, one that has a relevant body.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that can take more than one thing.
Right.
Yeah. So this card is crazy.
Get it in there for blocks so you trigger that Enrage and get that dude that you blocked and whatever.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And also just completely get rid of tokens out of blocks, so...
Oh, that's actually a really good idea, which will actually kind of come up a little bit later from another dinosaur, but we'll talk about that later. So next, Brandon is going to talk to us about Bishop of Binding, a very interesting card with a very interesting creature type.
Vampire Cleric, Bishop of Binding, 3 and a white, but it's a 1/1, so it's not great power and toughness for your mana cost.
Just a 1/1.
Right. It dies to shock.
Everything. Dies to me breathing on it.
Right. When Bishop of Binding enters the battlefield, exile a target creature and opponent controls until Bishop of Binding leaves the battlefield.
Jesus.
Yep. Then whenever Bishop of Binding attacks, target vampire gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is its power of the... Where X is the power of the exiled card.
So this is actually kind of interesting.
Yes.
Because how we just talked about how the forerunner of the Legion or whatever didn't have to target a vampire with its ability. This creature does. So there's a lot of things that kind of...
I feel like that fixes the card from being broken. Because if it didn't,
I feel like, the power level would be a lot higher. But this is... Bishop of Binding is very much something that kind of like sticks to flavor. Like, this is the bishop, or of the vampire people or whatever. So
this is a dude who's just trying to protect his people, and by protecting them he's making them stronger.
So think of it this way. So forerunner of the Legion is a vampire knight, and knights, they're like, there's the honor, but they serve the Legion. So with that triggered ability, whenever another vampire enters the battlefield and you control target, you gets +1/+1. It's like whoever else could be in their battalion or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you think about it, when you think about like religious type things, they're usually very like into their beliefs and things like that. So I suppose perhaps the argument could be made that it's like, oh, since it's like that type of very like segmented thing, this is like the religious part of this belief system or whatever, that they only want to bestow their like blessings or whatever onto like more of the same, you know?
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm just talking. Next up is Paladin Atonement. So, Vampire Knight. So we're going back to so this could be fetched with our Forerunner of the Legion. It's also a knight, so it can go in the knight deck. So if you put both of those in the knight deck, not necessarily the vampire deck, if you fetch the Paladin of Atonement with the Forerunner of the Legion, you kind of not necessarily turn the engine on, but you know, you have something to target with that second ability. Right. So for 2 mana, you have a 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you lost life last turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Paladin of Atonement. That's pretty awesome. And then whenever a Paladin of Atonement dies, you gain life equal to its toughness.
It's not terrible.
That reminds me of... I hope I spelled that right. Kinsbale Border Guard. That's what that reminds me of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Kinsbale Border Guard comes in with a +1/+1 counter for every Kithkin you control, and then when it's put into the graveyard, you put a +1, or you put a 1/1 Kithkin in play for each counter on it. So it's like two abilities that interact with each other in a way where, like, if this, then this, but then when this, you get something else.
Exactly.
You know? It's pretty awesome. I like this card a lot. I just like the word Paladin. It's a cool word.
Strikes home.
That's right. Tell me about Radiant Destiny.
Radiant Destiny.
Awesome
artwork.
2
and a white. Yes, 2 and a white for an enchantment, which has Ascend.
Ooh, what's Ascend?
New mechanic. Ascend, parentheses. If you controlled 10 or more permanents, you get the city's blessing for the rest of the game. And that's
the rest of the game.
Yep.
It's
just like having an emblem.
The game.
Okay, Travis. As Radiant Destiny enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. As long as you have the city's blessing, they also have vigilance.
I misread this the first time that I read it.
Yeah?
I thought this was a dead enchantment until you had the city's blessing. I thought it was +1/+1 comma.
Oh.
So
yeah, that's a period, so they just get +1/+1.
So it's like a glorious anthem.
Plus always watching?
Right. So how do you feel about Ascend?
It's neat.
I
mean, I feel like in Commander, it's not going to be hard to get to 10 permanents because you can just count lands.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, but none of the effects from Ascend are crazy overpowered.
Which is something that I'm really happy about.
Yes.
Because that could have gotten out of hand really fast.
Right, because you can't interact with the emblem once it's, or the Ascend thing once it's there.
How long do you think it is before we get a card... Like, let me just brainstorm something. It's going to be like Bolus's Annihilation or something. And it's like X amount of mana. Let's say like Grixis 1 or Grixis 2. So 5 mana or 4 mana. Like destroy target creature, planeswalker, or emblem or something, you know?
Ooh, yeah.
Because it's been a long time since we've had emblems. We've had emblems for a long time. But we've never had a way to interact with them.
Right.
Right?
Which I feel like gets the real problem of how planeswalkers are so broken once they ultimate, is because there's no way to deal with a lot of the ultimates because they're emblems.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that in a way exhibits the power of a planeswalker. It's like if you let them get too powerful, you can just forget about it. You know?
Right.
So, anyway. There's way more that could be...
Well, that was just like... Battle for Zendikar Gideon, you could ultimate him, immediately kill him off, and get that emblem to buff your dudes.
Yep, and that was just that.
Yep.
So, Slaughter the
Strong
is 1 and 2 white, so 3 mana for a sorcery that says each player chooses any number of creatures he or she controls with total power of 4 or less, then sacrifices all other creatures he or she controls. This card killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Uh,
Basically.
not. I mean, this card arguably even kills the dinosaurs more than Star of Extinction, which you'd think
Right.
would be the ultimate thing that takes down the dinosaurs. But this card's actually really cool. Like all my jokes aside or whatever, just because it punishes the big creature deck.
Right.
Because you play a bunch of mana dorks and stuff, empty your hand, and unless you have some sort of draw engine going, Slaughter the Strong comes down. What do you have left?
Exactly.
Like some lands, an empty hand, maybe 1 or 2 cards in hand, Land War Elves. You know.
Yeah. Not much you could do at that point.
Yeah, so
That's what we call overextending.
right. That's actually a really good point. But just for this, like having the idea of, hey, you're killing the dinosaurs or whatever for Rivals of Ixalan. This card's excellent in Commander, and I'm sure is going to make it into many Commander decks just to combat the big creature decks.
Yep.
Next up is a card that is kind of a precursor to something far more crazy that we'll be seeing later.
Right?
This is Sphinx's Decree. Brandon, what's Sphinx's Decree?
Sphinx's Decree is a 1-white sorcery that reads, each opponent can't cast instant or sorcery spells during that player's next turn. This flavor text, though, be still.
Beast. Azor. Who's that? Who's Azor?
Who is
I
Azor?
don't even know.
Azor? Azor? How is it set?
Azor. I mean, I don't know. That's
I mean, we'll find out later, obviously.
This card harkens back to cards like Silence, which I mean, this is more like not necessarily like nerfed because this is just can't cast instants or sorceries, but it's the same idea.
Right.
So
still a neat card though.
Yeah, very cool. This card, what does this card do? Because when I was originally thinking of it, I was thinking of the thing that this is associated with, and I was thinking, does this card do better, almost do better in the mirror match than it does against the aggro deck?
I think so.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
This is something that you could have used back during the Return to Ravnica days when you were doing Sphinx's Revs and
Sphinx's Rev.
Yeah. And other things like that. Cyclonic Rifts and
I hate that card. So Sphinx's
other
Decree,
cards that were
very
played
powerful
like
card.
that.
However, I think it's worth noting here, sorcery speed.
Yes.
I guess like
you cast it on your upkeep before they can cast anything.
I mean,
basically,
I think that.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
So, in a way, it doesn't really matter because it only says during that player's next turn. So it's like if you cast it on your opponent during your turn, they still can't. They can still cast spells during your turn.
Right.
It's not they can't cast spells until your next turn. So perhaps sorcery is the appropriate super type to use here. Who knows?
We'll see. I'm sure. I have a feeling it'll see play.
Temple.
I have a feeling that we will see a blue-white deck somewhere.
Sure. So Temple Altisor is 5 mana for a 3/4 dinosaur. If a source would deal damage to another dinosaur you control, prevent all but one of that damage. What is this card?
This is your helping trigger Enrage card to help prevent that your dinosaurs don't all die.
It says, this card says, this card says, if damage would be dealt to another dinosaur you control, trigger Enrage. But I don't know. So this card's pretty awesome.
Deal 1 damage and trigger Enrage. There you go.
So this is like one of those things that just goes in the dinosaur deck. So there's not really that much to say about it, other than I think that it's a very powerful card. Next up is hashtag 420 Blazing Hope.
Yeah.
Take us away, Brandon.
It's a white mana instant sorcery. Instant sorcery. Yep.
Instant sorcery.
Exile target creature with power greater than or equal to your life total.
This card is the card that saves your butt. But now, even though that I've said that, I mean, there's like 1.5 million things you could talk about like cards being less powerful or more powerful. So here's the thing that the win more player says, oh, just run Path to Exile or Swords of Plowshares or whatever, right? But so this is kind of, I feel, meant to be sort of like a limited or constructed card.
Right, but, I mean, exile target creature with power greater than or equal to your life total.
So it's like when the imminent threat is there,
right?
You have an answer for 1 mana at instant speed.
Yeah.
Will
but it has to be more power than your life total, though.
Exactly. So in Commander, I feel like that's a little difficult to do unless you're playing against the type of deck that makes the creature with infinite power.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So still neat, but maybe not for Commander players.
Yeah. So I think here we're just getting into the uncommons and common stuff.
Majestic Helioteris. I think that's how it's said. I think the P is Heliopterus, maybe. Could be. Tell us about this dinosaur.
This majestic dinosaur.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to call it from now on, Majestic Dinosaur.
So it's a 2/2 with flying, and whenever Majestic Heliopterus attacks, another target dinosaur you control gains flying until end of turn. So used to saying just target creature.
Yeah, in the deck that I'm going to build, at least. So, but the question is, does this card have a spot in the deck? And the answer is, I don't know.
And what only gives it's not a Pegasus, okay?
Yep.
It can't give your entire army flying.
Yeah. It's not your cavalry Pegasus.
No.
I can't spell cavalry. Cavalry, there we go. There it is. Not a cavalry Pegasus. However, the dinosaur deck is going to need a way to have some sort of evasion. I feel like you're going to be trampling over it a lot just because of the nature of the deck and the way that it's going to be built.
Right.
However, if your opponent is also playing a big creature deck with a lot of other big creatures, I feel like this card may be like possibly the sole card, because there's some other dinosaurs, spoiler alert, that do things for other dinosaurs when they attack. This one might be the one to run because giving the evasion might be your ticket to victory.
So basically, I mean, if you're playing anything but Commander, run it in your sideboard. Right?
Yeah, sure. As I said, whether or not this makes it into my 99, I don't know.
It will be seen.
Yeah, remains to be seen. Imperial Ceratops is 5 for a 3/5 dinosaur. At Enrage, you gain 2 life.
Yeah.
Doesn't do much, in my opinion. For 5 mana, that's not what I want to be seeing off my Enrage trigger.
It's a fine limited card.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
I knew what this card was called, but as I brought it up, in my mind, I read Everyday Champion. It's your Everyday Champion.
Yep.
But this is Everdawn Champion. What's Everdawn Champion, Brandon?
Everdawn Champion is a 1 white human soldier.
Human what?
2/2.
Human what?
Human soldier. Oh man.
My.
So, I mean, humans are also have something to do with the dinosaurs. It's not just all dinosaurs all the time.
Right. Yeah, they're kind of attuned with the dinosaurs.
Exactly. So, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to Everdawn Champion. What?
I think this card is amazing.
Pretty good, right?
So,
it can only die to removal.
Hear me out. I'm going to talk about a deck that I played recently, but I hardly ever play in the grand scheme of things. And it's the enchantment deck. This card just might go in the enchantment deck. Because you can't deal damage to it.
Right.
And you suit it up and go to town. I don't know.
I mean, I could also maybe find a slot for it in Tajik, but...
That's what I was thinking. When I read this card, I immediately thought of your Tajik deck.
Yeah.
So, Pride of the Conquerors, not that great. Baffling End.
It's pretty funny.
I'm going to let you take this one because you seem to get a pretty big kick out of it.
It's because of the art. The art's what makes it.
Oh, yeah.
So 1 and a white for an enchantment. When Baffling End enters the battlefield, exile target creature and opponent controls with CMC 3 or less. And then when Baffling End leaves the battlefield, target opponent creates a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample.
So, how do you feel about this card?
I mean, it's like an Oblivion Ring attached to a Beast Within, kind of.
What's that one card that it's Silk Wrap, right?
Yeah. Silk Wrap's the one you're thinking of.
Search. There we go. So this is like your Silk Wrap with a downside. Because the first time that I read this, I thought it was you got a 3/3 beast. Or a 3/3 dinosaur beast. I'm thinking of Beast Within. So I thought it was you got a 3/3 dinosaur. So I think this is very much the card that is meant to stay self-contained within this set,
right?
You know,
but it's just the art.
Unless you're going for that flavor,
right?
Personally, I don't think I don't think I'm going to be running this card. I just don't.
No.
Because with the deck that I'm building, I don't care if you have tiny creatures out. I mean, like, sure, the argument can be made that it's like really powerful tiny creatures that are more than just like mana dorks and stuff.
Right.
But I don't know. Just doesn't really do it for me.
Yep. But it's just there's a pirate and it's just been evaporated.
And it's like, where'd he go?
Exactly. And the dinosaur is obviously like, where'd it go?
Yeah. He was just here.
The real question is the dinosaur the pirate? That's your real question here.
Yeah. Dinomancy? Isn't that thing turned into a dinosaur? Spoiler alert, we'll see something like that later. Next up, I just want to go over this really quick because I think the card is pretty interesting. Brandon, take us through Famished Paladin.
Famished Paladin. 1 and a white for a Vampire Knight.
He's Vampire Knight. 3.
So you're getting, for your mana cost, you're getting a relevant body.
Yeah.
So Famished Knight doesn't untap during your untap step. Well, that makes up for that power and toughness. And whenever you gain life, untap it.
Reminds me of Nettle Sentinel.
Yeah.
Except Nettle Sentinel's way better. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of neat.
It's got neat art, though.
Yep, I like it a lot. Sky Marcher Aspirant doesn't do anything for me. It's another Ascend thing, but...
Right.
Sanguine Glorifier. Luminous Bonds. I want to go over this real quick just because I think the artwork is really cool, and it's not necessarily a new spin, but it's like a spin, not even a spin. It's just like a copy of something that we've seen before many times, and this card is actually kind of bad. But for 3 mana, you can enchant a creature. Enchant a creature can't attack or block. This is a lot like Pacifism. Pacifism costs 2 mana, but then again we have Arrest, which is 3 mana, and also prevents the creature from using its activated abilities. So this is another one of those cards that just stays in this set.
Yeah.
Legion Conquistador does not apply to Commander, unfortunately, because it deals with searching for copies of the same card.
However, though, it is a reprint from Ixalan.
Is it really?
It is. It helps because it was.
Really?
Yes, it is. So when you go to draft Rivals on Ixalan, I think you're going to get 2 Rivals packs and a pack of Ixalan, so you can actually achieve the dream.
Oh, so this is actually pretty awesome in draft, and it's at common, so the likelihood of you getting that is pretty high.
Yep. Go live the dream, everybody.
Wow. Exultant Sky Marcher is the... I'm just going to touch on it real quick because it reminds me of Vampire Nighthawk. Except it's terrible.
Moving on.
Let's take a look at this just real quick. I have it up on the screen here. Vampire Nighthawk is one of the most ballerist uncommon creatures that just does a thing.
I'm not going to argue there.
But good lord, give this thing... Like Vampire Nighthawk has Death Touch and Lifelink. So I guess the argument here is that Exultant Sky Marcher is at common. Vampire Nighthawk is at uncommon, which gives him a little bit more privilege than Exultant Sky Marcher.
I mean, we could have seen a reprint here of it.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's a strong card.
Divine Verdict is the card that I wish costed 3.
Yeah.
Which would make it a target for Sunforger.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I wish.
So why don't you tell us about Sonborn Sentry?
Snubhorn Sentry is a really cool looking little guy. 1 for 0/3, but if you are ascended, I'm just going to say that from now on, Snubhorn Sentry gets +3/+0. So he becomes a 3/3 for 1. Does this make it into the dinosaur deck? I truly don't know. I have one on pre-order. We'll see, because in the likelihood, once I am ascended, 1 for a 3/3 is not going to mean much to me.
Right.
So
tell you though something when we get around to it. Spoilers for later. I'm more excited about cards on this row and the red cards.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push that out of the frame so no one can see. Raptor Companion is a vanilla.
Another
common.
reprint.
Martyr of Dusk is an interesting card that reminds me. Take us through this while I pull up this card.
So 1 and a white for a vampire soldier. 2/1. Whenever Martyr of Dusk dies, create a 1/1. It's a what's his name from Innistrad?
What's the name?
Is that the one?
You can do it. I believe in you.
I can't.
I believe in you, Peter.
Doom Traveler.
That's right.
That's the one?
Yeah. So, however, Doom Traveler is 1 for a 1/1 that gets a spirit token with flying, but Martyr of Dusk gets a 1/1 vampire with lifelink.
With lifelink.
So, lifelink versus flying is one thing, but I guess the other thing to say here is that if you're playing the vampire deck, the possibilities of having tribal synergy is a little bit greater, because the spirit deck sucks, frankly.
Yeah.
So Sun Sentinel is not that great.
2 mana, 2/2 with vigilance. I mean, it's okay.
Squire's Devotion makes you a token for vampires. We're in the color here where there are many vampire creatures. Moment of Triumph doesn't really do much. Sun-Crested Pterodon also doesn't do much. This is another one of the cards that I was actually talking about. Cards that when it has a certain ability, or maybe not. This actually is kind of backwards from what the last card was.
Right.
So the other card was when it attacks, something else gains flying, but this thing gains an ability as long as you control another dinosaur, which harkens back to other cards that I can't really pull off the top of my head right now. Where as long as you control...
Oh, there's plenty of them.
There's actually a card that synergizes with birds. It's 2 for like a 1/1, but it gets +2/+2 in flying or something if you control a bird. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Like, comment, subscribe if you can tell me what that is. Tell us about Cleansing Ray with some awesome artwork. Very situational, but still pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, it can target those enchantments, though.
That's right.
Which is relevant in this block. So 1 and a white for a sorcery. Choose one. And can I just say that ever since we got this format for choosing options on cards, it's just been so much better.
I love having options.
Word soup.
I love modal cards.
Right.
Yeah.
So destroy target vampire or destroy target enchantment.
So could you tell me right now off the top of your head why this card is situational and not strictly better than disenchant?
Because you're not always up against vampires?
Right. Disenchant is also an instant and can also target artifacts.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
who plays Disenchant, Travis? Just play Rexage and get rid of it anyway.
Rexage is green.
I know.
All right.
That's my point, Travis.
So that is Rivals.
Maybe I should have segued it better with naming a blue card that destroys an enchantment.
Sure.
Is there even one?
Sometime. At least one card. It has to cost like 6.
Right.
Destroy target enchantment. I don't know. But yeah, those are the white cards in Rivals of Ixalan. Already, we're in the first part of like 6 of this episode 18. And we've already seen some super awesome stuff. And we're going to go on for the next episode, Season 2, Episode 18, Rivals of Ixalan spoilers, Blue.